back to the Mindbender Mental Performance Podcast.
Welcome back to the Mindbender Mental Performance Podcast. And Enrique Barrenes not with us today, but big shout out to LTP. I think they're out in Sin City playing the great game of baseball. And a special shout out to Storm 14U Baseball. Great job out there, boys, taking home a PG tournament a couple weeks ago. You do not rise to the occasion. You sink to the level of your preparation. You know why we're here, to make people who play baseball fuerta en la cabeza. El lugar es aquí, el momento es ahora. The place is here. The time is now. Taking it from the clouds to the dirt, one episode at a time, we're knocking down mental and oftentimes emotional barriers that get in the way of consistent and confident performance. Today, part 3, chapter 2, establishing proper goals. Yes, the proper start from the book, The Mental Game of Baseball by Harvey Dorfman. The motivation to work on the mental part of baseball has to be carried forward. Goal setting does that. A lot of people talk about goal setting, SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relentless, and timely. The successful player sets goals to stimulate himself to act in ways that achieve what his goals and objectives are, focusing attention and energy. The more aware he is of what he wants, the more likely he is to do what is necessary to get it. Properly selected goals become a player's most important tool. Specific performance goals positively affect his ability to execute. Just do your best usually doesn't, because it never truly defines what the best is, and no one extends himself to find out. Setting personal goals is essential for gaining control of your potential, of success, of self. Performance goals, or what a player believes he can do based on ability and confidence, become his personal standard. That's why they must be realistic and reasonable. Non-attainable goals breed a lot of discouragement. They breed frustration, and guys end up losing motivation. Too easy goals don't push guys to their limits of what they're capable of. Each and every player should evaluate daily, decide whether he's progressing, and keep goals adjustable, higher or lower, without changing them with haste, right? Success isn't usually immediate. Effort matters. Before revision of the goal, ask yourself honestly, how much effort am I actually putting forth? Revision of a goal matters because goals should encourage hard work and reward effort. They keep a player aware of what he wants and what choices he has. Excellence in anything depends on knowing what should be accomplished, how it should be accomplished, and how much he believes he can accomplish it. Wishing is not working. If you waste time wishing, you can't be alert to practical solutions marching right by you. How to get there, that's the key. In the book, Harvey talks about an extraterrestrial that lands in the Sahara and says, my goal is to get to Phoenix, Arizona. Well, he needs a plan, right? And if Kokomo is the only word in his head and he starts walking, he ain't going to see Phoenix, Arizona. Broad goals aren't enough. Whether you're a tennis player, a golfer, a race car driver, a gymnast, a ball player, even our extraterrestrial space monkey must focus on method, the process to get the result. For baseball, results goals or stats live in box scores and record books. Long range, intermediate, and short-term goals are useful, but they look toward the end result. The means to those ends, the how to get it, are process goals, specific methods to get the job done. And the best achievers, the best players, your Rod Carews, your Pete Roses, your Don Mattingly's, your Roger Clemens, your Bobby Witt Jr.'s, your Aaron Judges, your Vladdies, right? Even the big dumper, apply that focus and play at or near their best, even when they don't feel their best. Pete Rose knew the way past Ty Cobb was to do what had to be done each at bat. On each pitch, his process goal was simple and very functional. See the ball, hit the ball. Time after time, that's how he passed Cobb. In the book, Harvey Dorfman talks about Tom Seaver. He won more than 300 games in the Grande Ligas. In 1970, he set a goal of 30 wins. It's possible, but he pushed unreasonably. pitching on 3 days rest in August. He talked about you can't rush things. You can't be greedy. You can't go out and beat everybody in the world pitching every other day. You possess the goal. The goal must not possess you. 2 years later, Seaver said he had learned as much about goal setting as pitching, refining his pitching and the pleasure in it. And remember, we never, ever, ever let the pressure exceed the pleasure. Pressure is a choice and a privilege. Victory used to give Seaver pleasure, then a well-pitched inning, then satisfaction from 1 or 2 pitches a game, moments where he applied all he knew, mentally and physically, on one pitch at a time, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. Satisfaction in the specific moment where perfection is possible. Perfect focus, perfect process, right? Those specific moments on the mound, in the box, on the field, on the base pass, in the dugout hold the immediate goals of outstanding elite level players. These goals of execution, action goals, right? Action goals, they confine the thoughts, task-oriented, direct the focus, and help a player assert as much control as possible. If the controls are the right ones, he is far more likely to reach the broader goal. Focus and control, right? That's the core of a great player's approach. Control follows proper focus, and proper focus follows properly set goals. Focus should be on specific performance and behavior, actions of body and mind. My goal is to hit the breaking pitch better. My goal is to get a better jump on balls hit over my head. My goal is to pitch more effectively on the inside part of the plate so I can make the batter inside conscious. My goal is to relax more while I'm at bat. My goal is to concentrate better on the game situation before the batter hits the ball to me, right? These right goals build improvement. Practice lays the foundation because practice is where the action is and the separations and the preparation. Games test the structure. Then adjustments are made. Success is judged by one's own specific approaches and actions, not on stats, scoreboards, or wins or losses. The focus on self-improvement shifts concern from opponent to performer, right? Grounded in the belief that the player is responsible to himself and for himself, for what he does, not what the opponent does, right? The language of self-improvement is the language of self-control, positive, productive, powerful, not negative, right? Relaxation, calm, composed, not low-grade anxiety or damaging discontent or itchy irritability. How a player talks to himself determines how he thinks. In TBT, thoughts become things. How he thinks determines how he plays. Goals reduce anxiety when they're attainable. They motivate and guide behavior in a desired direction, increasing the probability of success and relieving the low-grade anxiety and damaging discontent and bringing it to fucking bring it on. Poorly constructed goals also motivate, but they motivate toward anxiety and toward fear and failure. Getting the goal right is the first of many games to be won here. So what do we want? We want quality thoughts. Considering TBT, thoughts become things. Physical performance is the outcome of thought. The mental message dictates the physical action and its quality. Negative thoughts are not quality thoughts. They don't lead to quality action. Habits are not just physical. We have habits of thought that become automatic programming, right? And 80% of the thoughts we have are ants, automatic negative thoughts. Negative programming hinders us as athletes and as people, right? Negativism isn't a philosophy. It's an attitude. The attitude of a player whose nerves aren't as strong as he'd like. Attitudes can change, but they must be recognized. You must be aware of something in order to change it. And it's hard to read the label when you're sitting inside the jar. And it's common to think, I don't want to boot this ground ball, or I don't want to walk this batter, right? The word don't doesn't get through to the body. It carries no functional image. Boot this ground ball does carry an image. So the air or the walk becomes more likely. It's like me telling you, don't think about, pink elephants right now. The body does what it hears most clearly. The mind tells the body what it sees most clearly. Think about what you don't want, and you raise the odds that it will happen. I don't want to strike out as much as this year, right? Shrinks to, I don't want to strike out in this at bat. And finally, I don't want to miss this pitch. That attitude corrupts into fear of failure. And our job is turn the fear into fuel and turn the failure into feedback. And then what happens when that attitude corrupts? The belief that you will strike out, the belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Say, don't think about the elephants, and you're thinking about the elephants. Players must hear what they should do. See it and hit it. Put the fat part of the bat on the ball, hit it where it's pitched. Attack the zone. It's going right there. Hit it to me. Most players know what not to do. They still need directives for positive actions. Even a big leaguer can think, I'm in the majors and I can't make a throw from second to first. He should say, I'm here for a reason. I have fucking talent. I'm the man. Let the other stuff play on the mind and he won't stay long. Self-doubt can develop at any level. A young pitcher with good stuff can get hit hard. Line drives all over. The thoughts come, maybe my stuff isn't good enough. Maybe I can't pitch in this league. Maybe I don't have it. That road leads to disappointment, frustration, anger, and even depression. Positive motivation is lost. Functional, directive goals are forgotten. Confidence and realistic attitude erode away. Control of the game and self, gone. Negativity and defeatism take over, increasing your opponent's control. Don't give away your power, right? Hoping means you don't believe that you can. Hoping you won't often means you will, right? I hope they don't hit it to me means you're afraid they will, right? So it's really hard to say, I hope they don't hit it to me, when during your prep step and anchoring down with your breath and stepping into your circle of focus, you are saying, hit it to me. It's very hard to listen to yourself saying, I hope they don't hit it to me, when you're talking to yourself saying, hit it to me. Bad hopes equal awful goals. They are directed not at success, but at avoiding failure. Beware of the I gotta syndrome. The words sound neutral, but the thought is, if I don't, I'm a failure. Urgency is the clue. I gotta get a hit right now. Tightens a player. Relaxation is vital to performance. The mind should always be in the game. It's connected to the body, but the quality of the mind games, the quality of the mind's games affects the body's game. Thinking you must do this or that at the moment or before signals anxiety that harms your performance. The anxiety is born of fear of failing. He who makes goals takes risks, and you got to risk it for the fucking biscuit. Aspiring to great achievement risks failure, right? When you're going for the knockout, you yourself leave yourself exposed to get knocked out. You're trying to hit the linear up the middle. You also expose yourself to get punched. Some players avoid high goals to avoid that risk. Others set them, but won't make an honest effort. Trying hard and not succeeding can intimidate, right? But we all know winners lose more than losers lose. The best have fears of inadequacy, but they ignore or detach from them. They're determined to overcome them and gain control of their thoughts, feelings, actions, and behavior. That's the winner's approach. Everyone needs self-worth. Winners recognize everyone fails occasionally. Failure reflects on performance, not the performer, not the person. Failure is an event, not a person. Learn the lesson, leave the event, right? A winner simply tries again, works to be more effective, establishes what he must do to make the next effort better, and keeps adjusting, even if the next time isn't successful. Failure and success both motivate the fucking winner. And if you want to win, it's what's important now. The failure-oriented player believes lack of ability explains failure. He sees failure as failure, not as feedback. Luck explains rare successes. And effort, useless. So he protects self-esteem by not trying hard. Oh, if I went all out, I could. Yeah, you do that 300 times and your life's a wrap. The irony here is clear. Half-hearted effort almost guarantees the failure that the player wants to avoid. Wanting to be a star is a poor goal. Not wanting to be one is worse. It suggests reluctance to be a top elite level performer or an excuse for not being one. The need to achieve creates pressure. But remember, pressure is a choice and a privilege. So we're not going to let the pressure ever exceed the pleasure. One way Some try to eliminate pressure is to set no goals at all. Then goals are set by default. Whatever you think about most will function as a goal. Where focus goes, energy flows. If a player fails to set positive, controllable goals and instead spends time on pressure, failure, and consequences, expectations, comparison, he has set a goal of failing. Goals help, excuses hurt. Failure-oriented players protect themselves with excuses. Bad bounces, bright lights, umpires' calls, injuries, little vague illnesses, blaming others, blaming your teammates. Little fucking children transfer blame. Adults do it and take ownership, right? Winners adjust goals. By lowering sights realistically, he avoids failure. Losers cling to unrealistic goals beyond their skill, feel the pressure, and let failures linger. Their past guarantees their future more failure. Winners live in the present with new goals created when necessary and appropriate, and they do it with zest to achieve them. That's right, dude. Zest is best. Keep the desire to work toward goals. Otherwise, stop competing. Further advice, right? Goals must be compatible. One should not interfere with the other. Goals should be limited in number. Concentrate attention on a few. Add more once success and confidence are established and building. Once you got that momentum. Goals should be prioritized. The most important and immediate belong at the top, aka MIT's most important tasks. Put the goals in writing. Writing encourages personal commitment and ensures the process is thought through, right? Public declaration strengthens resolve. Reread the list regularly. Judge your behavior, score your behavior, and your performance honestly. And remember, make the most important goals relate to the job at hand, the how in the now. One pitch goals, right? See the ball, hit the ball. Attack the zone, hit it to me, are within immediate control during the game. These goals keep focus on function, direct mind and body, and assist the effort to reach maximum capability. That effort shows up in every great player during good streaks and bad. He knows what he wants. He knows how to get it. So he goes and gets it. No one can do more. No one should do less. Para mis jugadores latinas, más línea, más vida. Hasta la próxima, recuerda, si quieres ser un jugador disciplinado, comprometido y preparado en el futuro, empiezas esa mierda hoy. Se necesita lo que se necesita y lo mejor está por venir. Until next time, remember, if you want to be a disciplined, committed, and prepared ball player in the future, you start that shit today. It takes what it takes. Be good to yourselves. And the best is yet to come.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.